Greetings and welcome back. My name is Rudimentary Rob. Welcome back to my Valheim series. Today, episode 14, we get to do some new equipment tests. We have our new Fang bow, and I'm currently looking for some victims. So, strap in, put on your warm boots and your fuzzy warm helmet, and prepare for some action. Alright, just slowing things down here for a moment so you can take on board all of the glorious new equipment that we have. We have Frostner, does a combination of blunt frost and spirit damage, and of course the Fang, which I mentioned briefly in the previous episode. In addition to the standard damage, it also inflicts poison on the target. Alright, now we're fading across to our attempts to locate a additional silver vein. We've obviously used up all of our silver that we've gathered previously, so we're now looking for some more. And we stumble across this fella. And I'm not in a hurry to go into this at this stage, because what happens is you will get attacked by a bat fairly early in the cave, and the bat itself is barely nuisance value. However, the act of killing the bat actually enables a different kind of a base raid. And that base raid involves a whole cloud of bats descending on your base. And they like to get in and kill your domesticated animals, and they're just a gigantic pain in the backside to get rid of. So, just for that reason alone, I am holding off on my raiding of caves. At some point in the future, I will have my bases secured to deal with bats, but just for the moment, we're not quite there yet. And to be honest, given the amount of fire damage that can be involved in those caves, we don't have the fire resistance mead yet, and it's much better to have that when you go into the caves. So we're going to hold off on them. I've been marking them on the map because there is multiple reasons to come back to them later, but for the moment, don't expect anything from me with the caves until I am better prepared. In the meantime, we have a few locals that aren't too keen on me digging up their precious silver vein, but rest assured, we do not get discouraged quite so easily. Yeah, this is one of these silver veins that's got a normal rock node mixed in with it as well. It's only impacting on part of it, so it'll slow us down a little bit. It's definitely going to make us use most of, if not all of our durability on our mining pick. But it's not going to prevent us from getting that vein completely mined. And sure enough, there goes our mining pick. And some silly reason, I ended up retiring the bronze pickaxe. And at this particular moment, I'm thinking I probably should have kept that on me. But because I'd had so many silver nodes without any rocks in them, I figured I wasn't using it. And it was taking up valuable weight in my bag. But nonetheless, we've got portal nearby. We're just going to go back to base and repair. But before we do that, we're actually going to move the portal into that hole to add some greater convenience to what's going on. Alright, and just when you thought it was just going to be another bit of me setting up a portal, well, it probably will be, but it's night time and it's the mountains, so it's, pardon me, it's time for some more action, including a almost fatal fall from a cliff top. Now, you can see just how hard he hits. To be honest, I think I should have been chugging that healing potion a lot sooner, but we managed to get out of this one okay. Now, while there are fen rings around, you will always find multiple wolves because they call out and they kind of summon them to them. So always be prepared for a bit of a handful when you're taking on one of these guys. As promised, we make our way back to our active pit. We're going to throw down our workbench, portal, you know, chest, all that other good stuff. and start the process of cleaning up and busting this node. Yeah, alright, so I was a bit slow on the uptake with getting the chest down, but, you know, as promised. Now we have the glorious task of relaying all of this beautiful silver down to the boat. Now, just in case you're wondering what the visibility is like during a blizzard, any questions? Yeah, the boat's not back yet. It's still back at the main base, so I'm just dumping into this chest for now. I will relay the boat through the portal a little bit later. And as part of the requisite causing cruelty to large and dumb animals, here we are destroying a troll. Destroying is the right word. It did not even get into melee range. Now, I decided to take a bit of a detour and do some more explorations. I have, well, a reasonably uneventful trip. I did actually discover another cave though, and I've marked it on the map. And I came across this little vertical arrangement here. Again, apologies if you have issues with heights. It is somewhat unavoidable when you're in the mountains. So after dispatching our erstwhile irritating flying rodent, well, it's not a flying rodent, but it's just as annoying as a flying rodent, we descend into this tower to look at what this glow is. And it is the locator beacon for the next boss, which is Moda. And what are the odds? That is just north of Elder Island, which is coincidentally also where Bone Mass was. So I think we're going to have a fairly easy job of, expanding out from there. We just don't know what biomes we may have to encounter as part of our journey. So, we are now firmly back to the task at hand. We're going to keep extracting as much silver as we can from these mountains so that we can facilitate making the rest of our gear and fully upgrading it. We may save ourselves some time because there is multiple nests on this mountain. I may actually take the eggs with me from this mountain to make the trip to Moda somewhat easier and less annoying, because I've had quite a few playthroughs where the mountain where Moda is has been quite small, relatively speaking, and normally you'll get at least one nest, but I've had run-throughs where there was literally one nest. And the eggs do respawn, but they take days and days and days. And look, there's enough things that take up time, behind the scenes, like farming being the biggest one, I guess. And I just don't really want to add any more time since to my playthrough. So I will, I'll probably elect to do most of that off camera. And the rest of the plan will be revealed in due time. Now, I am talking in future tense here because as at the recording of the voiceover on this episode, I actually have not advanced my playthrough any further than the contents of this episode. I've been doing a little bit in the background to get more onions and do a bit of cooking. But as far as exploration and mining, I have not done any more of it at this time. Part of the reason was I've been sick as a dog for the last week. I am starting to feel better, although you can still hear in my voice that I'm not completely better just yet. I will end up, no doubt, getting back into my normal routine in the coming days. And I look forward to recording some more content starting from this weekend. And by this weekend, by the time you hear this, it will be probably a week and a half ago, relatively speaking. Now that we've had that little trip through the time machine, we can focus back on mining and getting some more of that lovely silver. Now, unfortunately, this particular silver vein is one of the bad ones. It is buried well into this rock face, and also has a lot of stone in with it. So, yeah, strap in and enjoy the spectacle of me wearing out my mining pick. Now, in addition to being buried in rock, this silver vein actually touches the very bottom of the available ground. So as in the rule with mining down or using a hoe to build up is there's only 8 layers. You can go up 8 layers or you can go down 8 layers relative to the default terrain. Now this silver vein comes into contact with the very bottom of that, and it means this little bit of it is going to prevent me from busting the whole thing until I've basically broken the connection between it and the ground. So you end up having to dig out the very end of it until it's not there anymore, and then as you saw there, the rest of it just busts in due course. So hopefully you don't come across too many of those, but it's inevitable you'll come across 1 or 2 from time to time. Alright, a little bit of a quick and easy relocation. Just moving our portal from the old hole to the new hole. You might be wondering why I keep putting fires down. The fires are handy, I mean, from a lighting perspective. They sort of help you see a little bit in the dark. And they are a source of warmth, just in case you happen to forget to put your little freezy potion on, but of course that's not relevant anymore because I've got my wolf cloak. No, the reason I put the fire down with the workbench is I believe it sort of confuses the raid system. Simply because in the mix now is a raid called You Are Being Hunted, and it's just a whole bunch of wolves that come at you. But unlike all the other raids, this particular one, the wolf raid, it only affects you when you're out in the world. So when you're away from quote-unquote home base. Whereas all of the other raids are based purely only on when you are around your base. Now, they do work on timers, and it works on continuously, I don't know, it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I don't remember exactly what the timer is. But when you remain within an area deemed to have quote-unquote base structures in it, and you're there for long enough, it means that that raid has a chance to spawn. Now, with me moving around from base to base, going from areas that have base items to areas that don't have base items, I feel like this is probably interrupting those timers quite a lot, and consequently even with all of the recording and all of the stuff that ended up on the cutting room floor, I didn't get raided once. So I feel like in the, I'm going to say 4 to 5 hours worth of recorded footage between the previous episode and this episode, not getting raided once, it feels like this might be working a little bit. But leave some comments down below if you've got some experiences with that yourself. Alright, as we rejoin the action, I'm going to call this bit Respect Yo 1 Stars. Yeah, they hurt. Alright, as we pick up our last bit of silver here, we've activated our detector. Not picking up on anything at this time, so it means there's nothing nearby. So we're going to pick up all of our odds and ends here, and we're going to carry those with us while we go searching for our next silver node. And in today's episode of Reading with Rob, we have some worthy advice about how to build and do interesting things in strange lands. Now, we've headed back towards our earlier areas, and we've found that there is actually another silver node here that I didn't pick up the first time round. So we're going to see if we can get him this time. Now, we're not really messing around this time. We're going to demonstrate just how quickly you can get yourself a portal set up and a chest with the most minimal of holes being dug. And now we're about to see the other advantage of having a fire. We get an automatic comfort of 3 just hiding under the end of the silver node there with the fire running, and we get ourselves a free 10-minute rested buff, which is very useful and saves me the effort of teleporting back to base. And in a bonus round of Reading with Rob, we get some background on the frostworms, otherwise known as the drakes. Doesn't say anything about them being as annoying as flying rats, but, you know, I think you can read between the lines. Alright, and that brings us to the end of this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you want to see more, don't forget to hit subscribe and hit the notification bell. Also, give me a bit of a thumbs up on this one so I know to keep making more. In the meantime, my name is Rudimentary Rob. Thank you very much for watching and have a fantastic day.